Welcome and welcome back, my friends, and today we are taking a look at, without a doubt, the most insane Zelda clone ever created.
Mister, please, you gotta help me. He's gonna get me. Ah!
Come on, you know you want to invest in Dogecoin?
A game made by a single man that, as its bonkers adventure plays out, the more absolutely ridiculous it becomes.
Stormtroopers? Ah, well that sucks.
A non-stop barrage of nostalgia-tinged hilarity. Today we find out what happens when a Zelda clone goes completely off the rails in the ditty of Carmina. The ditty opens with a cutscene setting up the game, with the land's princess and her escort making their way to a sacred temple. Arriving at the temple gates, they are greeted by a trio of handless elderly triplets, who inform the two that the holy relic that resides in the temple remains intact, despite a conflict unfolding, with this being news that seems to please at least one of them a little bit too much.
Oh my god. It's beautiful.
Would you like to touch it, Your Highness?
Is it permitted?
Normally no, but for you.
Oh, thank God he was talking about the relic. Upon reaching the relic, the group are attacked by goblins, under the command of what I can only describe as an extra from Peaky Blinders, showing up on set wearing the world's most overdeveloped pajamas, with Peaky Blinders being a show that still amazes me that people outside the UK can understand.
He likes a burger, he's a burger man.
This chap is called Frida Hairday, and in comparison to some of the other voices in Ditty that sound like they're reading the ingredients off the back of a candy bar.
But they did grant me passage and protection. All things considered, I can't complain.
May contain nuts.
Hairday is played pretty well.
With you in my custody and the Ricohedron missing, the kingdom of Baltudgel is in for a big surprise.
Well, all except for his evil laugh, sounding like someone pulled on one of his testicles right at the end. Alas, despite some frankly disturbingly agile moves from the princess, the group are captured, with the princess in particular falling victim to the almighty power of lightly grabbing the elbow. And with that, the group, the relic, and as we find out, the princess are taken. And it's here where the adventure of Dink/Lance begins. Now in the game proper, we are introduced to our Bostonian companion, Tabitha,
If you want to talk to me, press T.
who has a touchscreen built into her belly, apparently, migrating us nicely from, "Hey, listen," to, "Hey, there's an update." Before heading to the gym to shape up for our adventure ahead, we take a look around our hometown of Borrington, getting to see some familiar objects along with some not-so-typical items, such as an app for our fairy that displays the background music currently playing, an addition apparently included in an attempt to stop people on YouTube commenting asking about it constantly, something that luckily I have no experience in at all. Arriving at the town's gym, we are put through our paces, climbing up some ropes and ladders, with the latter being particularly challenging, due to the game being, quote, too cheap to sync up the feet with the ladder rungs, but we scale it regardless. Now fighting fit, Lunk visits the local shop for some supplies, struck with the realization that we have none of the game's currency, frequent flyer miles. A side quest is required, agreeing to shift a bunch of rocks into a chimney for a bloke wandering around the town. But as we see a number of times with the ditty, this task has much more to it. Now at least with some cash, Lunk heads to the town's mead hall and is stopped by his uncle, who wants to know how exactly he met his touchpad-toting companion.
I had just completed my early morning threshing and was walking back to town when I noticed something unusual. What was that? Cool, fairies!
Mister, please, you gotta help me. He's gonna get me. Ah!
Come on, you know you want to buy an Enron 401k plan?
An Enron 401k plan? That's just cruel. I have to do something.
Gotcha!
No, my portfolio is fine.
I don't believe in fairies.
Wow, thanks a lot, mister. I thought my credit rating was a goner. I'm Tabitha, Tab for short. What's your name?
My name's Lance.
Yikes!
Here's my card.
Along with introducing ourselves, we get a little clarity around the hero's name.
Hey, wait, this doesn't say Lance.
I know. It's spelled Lance, but it's pronounced Lance.
Okay, well, glad to meet you, Lance.
With the two acquainted, an agreement is made to seek out some adventure.
Oh, I don't think you have the slightest chance to find a quest to go on, but I suppose it wouldn't hurt to tag along for a little while. After all, you saved my future from financial ruin.
Thanks, Tabitha. I won't disappoint you.
I think this cutscene's about to end.
Back in the now, we catch up with our uncle about the game's conversation system, while he seemingly tries incredibly hard to remember the combination he set on the door of his basement filled with child prisoners. This very Sims-like crystal system is explained as showing when an NPC has new information or wants to talk to us, so Lance tries it out on some local ladies sat nearby, with disappointing results. Leaving the hall, we are stopped by a local ominously telling us to follow him for some information. This information turns out to be a walkthrough through the game's health system, informing us that to increase our health in place of Zelda's heart containers, we will need to track down spleens to chow down on and increase our hit points.
Lance, look, your life meter went up. It was 3 spleens, but now it's 4.
Well, I'll be. And it wasn't as bad as I thought. It seems really gross, but I could learn to really enjoy eating spleens.
Well, if that isn't the face of enjoyment, I don't know what is. After our appetizing meal, Lance notices something new in the town. A new, extremely wide face. This is Captain Hauser, a man seeking a fairy boy, who apparently is in luck. With the captain's mission to track us down explained in a cutscene with the king of the land, that although has a dope otter jumper, doesn't really seem to give a shit about his missing daughter.
A matter of grave importance, Your Majesty. Your daughter, Her Royal Highness, Princess Kamiana, has been kidnapped.
Why is that a matter of grave importance?
Your Majesty, come on.
So instead of summoning an army to track her down...
I think I know what you're planning. You want us to send a hero. A hero who will go on a glorious quest to rescue the princess. It will be a long and perilous quest. He will travel to distant lands, face many hardships, and encounter many dangers. But if he surmounts these many obstacles, he will find great glory. Right?
Well, actually, we were planning to deploy the army. I mean, come on, what's one hero going to do against thousands of enemy troops?
Instead, opting for the much cheaper option of finding a hero, one that just so happens to have a fairy companion, and may or may not be bejeweled in spleen remnants.
But will the people go for it?
Sure they will. We'll just feed them some bullshit story about a prophecy.
With the prospect of a full-blown adventure to save the princess, the captain informs us that we will need a weapon. Resisting the temptation to simply wield Lance's father around like an anthropomorphic ice pick, we visit the local agricultural supply to pick up the only real option, a scythe. Accepting the mission from the captain, we head to the land's capital, Baltudgel City, and find the king preparing himself to swear in the unlikely hero, while wearing the most unlikely of headdresses. Traditional headdress on full display, we are sworn in as a hero charged to rescue the princess, which surprisingly does not involve rolling the town's objects into a large ball. First on the list is to get some new equipment for the journey, so set to work smashing open some pots for items to sell. Items such as the Continuum Transfunctioner and the Holy Grail. Of course. With a little more cash, Lance heads to the war room for his briefing with Lord Tapton, who explains that to reach Frida Herde and attempt to rescue the princess, we must first track down 2 keys, plot keys to be precise, to unlock the seal the warlock has placed on his lair, with the first of these plot keys being in possession of a necromancer living in the chateau here in the kingdom, a location that this necromancer has secured using an army of supermodel zombies. A choice of foe that when challenged we are informed that with this being a video game of course must contain some gratuitously hot enemies. With our mission confirmed, we head into the city square, only to be met by another mysterious fellow applauding our efforts. This is Gary, another nod to another series, who brags about his daddy buying him the plot keys we seek and beating us to it, but we get the last laugh, with Gary humiliating himself with a face clearly indicating that he did not expect to lose gambling on that fart. Now able to take in some of the sights of the city, we explore around a bit and get a look at perplexing locations such as the Developer Laziness Park and the Baltudgel City Mall, that looks to merely be something interesting to fill an empty space, according to its sign. Looking for a little direction, we head to the city's information booth. Whoa, no. Let's see where this goes. This is Gertrude, and she is very happy to see our hero.
Oh my god, I saw you across the bridge and I was like, I hope he comes and talks to me. And here you are.
Okay, can I just stop right there? Carl Banks is the name of the person who made this game. Carl, can I just ask you something really quickly? Was the recording of that really awkward? And I hope for your sake that the person you got to do that wasn't like your girlfriend's sister or something. I mean, what kind of face are you allowed to pull while that's going on exactly? And I imagine that even if you said it was great, you would most likely still get a punch in the bollocks. Anyway, with this woman giving us a map app to help us navigate the land, and with Tabitha reminding us of the tried and true tradition of stringing along common girls in the land, just to dump them for the princess in the end. And since our hero is sporting a nose that is constantly existing in another zip code, I can't help but feel that he should be grateful for these ladies regardless. Arriving in the armory, we attempt to purchase a weapon from yet another terrifying-looking NPC. An NPC that in this location reminds me of a childhood friend of mine who would constantly lure and trap the butler in the fridge in Tomb Raider 2. But alas, we do not have the funds to cover it, being chastised by the snooty butler for being a bit of a cheapskate. Well, fine. I'll just take my chicken Cosmo and go. Desperate for a way to cover our adventure costs, we have no choice but to make a visit to the city bank and sign up for a credit card with a ludicrous interest rate. Returning to finally pick up our supplies, we make a final trip to explore around town for anything we can use, trying not to have a heart attack when getting a message on the fairy's built-in dating app. Oh, gee, oh my god, I nearly shat. It turns out that this search does bear some fruit, finding a pair of speedy boots tucked away in one of the game's unfinished factories. A boon indeed. Well, that's until we try them out. Okay, this should speed things up a bit. Oh, what the fuck? Well then. What?
Lance, wake up.
After epically face-planting to his death, Lance wakes up in limbo, of course, in the presence of a very far-out death.
I'm Death Lancy, and this is Limbo, the first circle of hell.
Who explains that we will be transported here when we die, but fear not, as he has a swift-ish, very on-brand way of whisking us back to the land of the living. Of course, death added me as a friend. Right, okay, this time I won't run into the building, and we can get some You've got to be shitting me. Okay, I get the feeling that these speed boots are indeed a troll, as no matter how they're used seems to end in death, but does lead to some interesting developments, such as being blasted across the land while simultaneously getting a message from our fairy companion saying that we can't leave until we get a ranged weapon, handing over the cursed boots for our fairy companion to carry, and picking up a crossbow, we finally make it out of the city.
Well, Tabitha, here we are, outside the safety of the city walls, and about to embark on our glorious quest to rescue the princess. Out there lies the vast uncharted wilderness where needs are scarce and enemies lurk hidden in the ignorant crevices of the landscape. It is a journey so bleak and perilous that only the greatest of men can hope to succeed. And yet, destiny chose me, a poor farm boy, to undertake this glorious quest, because the true power to conquer evil comes not from money or prestige, but from the heart. And so, my good fairy, it is time to set forth into the bleak unknown. First stop, Brabantse. Damn it!
Lance, are you okay?
Ugh.
Hey, buddy, this is just a scenic overlook. The road to Brabantse is back that way.
Yeah, I know, but there weren't any good vantage points on the road. We're trying to make a cutscene for a game here.
Huh? A game? Oh, I see. Well, I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to ask you to do that somewhere else. You're creeping out the tourists.
Picking himself up and gladly taking the reduced speed, we make our way to this chateau to confront the necromancer in possession of the first plot key, meeting none other than Achilles on the way, with the Greek warrior explaining that he is trapped behind a tortoise, due to not being able to figure out the mathematics around how fast he would need to run to get past it, with us agreeing to keep an eye out for anything that could help him, or potentially some sort of insane asylum to deal with him. After a short walk, we arrive in the town of Brobensee. Or Brobensee. I think probably considering it's a university town, it's probably called Brobensee. Regardless, we make our way to the doors of the chateau, finding out from the guards that the owner and the necromancer that we seek is actually the Baron of this town, someone who will not let anyone in who has not graduated from the town's university, something we will have to figure out how to overcome. Heading into the town's campus to convince the registrar to give us a bogus degree, with this not exactly going down well, when she doesn't find Lance on record, leaving us to having to retake the test to prove our stature after choosing from 3 options of majors. Getting lucky selecting accountancy, we are given a hilariously easy exam to pass, featuring questions such as how many sides does a square have, and what comes after 7, which to my surprise turns out not to be Chinese New Year. With now a copy of our degree, we once again speak to the guards, and are granted access to the chateau, getting a warm welcome from its owner.
What was that?
So the king thought he could send a hero to infiltrate the home of the powerful necromancer, Baron Ran.
Yeah, well, I'm not afraid of you, Baron Ran.
Wait, what? I'm not Baron Ran. Why would you think I'm the Baron? The Baron is a necromancer. I'm a phantom. Try to learn the difference.
Why can't you be both a necromancer and a phantom?
Well, you can actually, but never mind that. All I'm saying...
So why'd you even bring it up?
What?
You're saying I should have known you weren't Baron Ran because you're a phantom. But that doesn't make any sense. I don't think you're being fair here.
Look, all I'm trying to say is I'm not Baron Ran. I am a completely different person. Not Baron Ran at all.
All right, I heard you. Are you done?
No! I still have to do my ominous warning for you to stay away.
Well, get on with it.
I will if you just stop interrupting.
Fine!
Ahem. So, you who think you will infiltrate this chateau, beware! The Baron of this chateau is a very powerful necromancer who has filled this mansion with the Exorena. Ghastly, creepy, undead zombies. But even if...
You know, I've been wondering, why resurrect zombies?
You said you wouldn't interrupt.
The Baron is a necromancer. Why not resurrect fully intelligent and capable warriors?
I think maybe he isn't powerful enough to resurrect anything more than mindless zombies.
Oh, that sounds true. The Baron is the most powerful necromancer in the whole kingdom. He could easily raise a whole army of ninjas if he wished. The mansion is patrolled by zombies because zombies are scary.
Whatever. Look, we're wasting time. Why don't you just finish up your ominous warning so I can get on with the level?
Oh, right. But even if you get past the Exorena, there is another peril that awaits you. So fierce, so awesome, and so devastating that you will have no chance to survive. You will have to face me, the Great Cabal. So turn back now, if you value your life, for ye have never seen the likes of the Great Cabal.
Are you done? I think he's done, Tab.
Finally.
Let's go.
With this first one being a huge parody of the older Resident Evil games, with a system of locked doors and of course puzzles, including a parody piano puzzle, as well as some more off-topic additionals such as an escape room.
Hey, Cabal, are you serious? This is what you came up with to stop me from obtaining the plot key and rescuing the princess? An escape room?
Well, actually, no. The escape room was already here, so why not use it, you know?
Already here? You just happen to have an escape room in your house.
Yeah, that's right. This is a real escape room. It's something fun I set up for visitors to the chateau. It's one of the top-rated escape rooms in Northwest Batudgel, in fact. Problem?
This is so stupid.
An escape room that we solve with no problems at all, with another nod to the early Resident Evil games, being pictures on the door hinting of what we would need to track down to gain entry, working through the chateau and getting our first encounter with the Baron's supermodel zombies. An early Resident Evil parody wouldn't be complete without some involvement from some sort of wall-mounted decoration, with the ditty's flavor of course being very much alive, and asking Lance for a variety of items to trade for keys, such as providing some plant-based food to the lion after he asked for a bite to eat, in turn transforming him into a vegan. With the keys in hand working through the dungeon, we reach the classic room full of chests, indicating an upcoming boss battle. A boss battle that ends up being rather anticlimactic, with the Necromancer Baron simply giving up, leading to his arrest by our pointy hero, as he calls up the authorities on his fairy companion, or that weird toy from the 90s that probably blinded more people than the sun. I can't figure it out. On our way back to the city, we decide to exploit the university some more, attending a lecture to brush up on our knowledge, a pursuit that pays off when passing by Achilles once more, now explaining enough to him to convince him to pass the tortoise and getting some not-so-speedy boots for our trouble. Finally, something to allow us to safely travel a bit faster. Okay. Oh, that's much better. Excellent. Speedy travel finally unlocked. Oh, oh my god. I somehow managed to find a way to kill myself. Instantly. This is just the Zelda version of Kenny from South Park. Lance dragging himself back to the war room, we are briefed about the next plot key, hidden out in the desert. A journey that we will need to prepare for, by taking with us some electrolyte drinks to traverse the desert without dying of dehydration. Arriving at the Euphia Oasis, we catch up with some of the locals. Ah, Gary! There's no use pretending to be a street vendor. I see you. With your pants-crapping face trying to sell me your fortune cookies. I'll tell you your fortune for free. You f***ed. Just like Carl was when he tried to fit Hush Puppy Cosmos in after writing Gyros. Lance heads to a local luxurious desert inn, and we pay for a luxury room to get some rest on the luxury bed that Lance opts to sleep underneath like a pointy cat. Oh my god. Speaking with the projection of the Queen in the Kindergarten Migraine Palace, Lance wakes up to continue his adventure, beginning first with meeting with the rather smug-looking Amir, who explains that he has sent a British agent called Cora Loft into the catacombs to retrieve the plot key, and he has not seen her since. I'm sure a lot of you can see where this is going, with this agent getting access to the caves using a special badge, a badge that we will also need for entry, so are tasked with seeking out 2 subplot keys from 2 of the land's locals to craft it. Returning to the land of the hydrated, we stop off at the main city to pick up some supplies, and happen upon a side quest given by a cursed-looking little girl, asking us to track down some antiques. With a number of these already in our possession, we hand them over. At least, that's what I thought, but was left with a terrifying reminder that Lance still had a couple on him when leaving.
I know you still have antiques.
Exploring around to track down these locals, we come across some of the land's bonkers landmarks, such as the world's 3rd largest bottle of perfume, and a graveyard that includes a grave for one of the developer's unimplemented ideas. With a little more exploring, we come across the first local in possession of a subplot key, a farmer that is far too busy to help us.
Forget it, lad. It's shearing day, and I have a whole pasture of sheep I need to round up. I can't waste another moment.
You're just sitting there playing the jaw harp.
I'm meditating. You have to be in the right frame of mind when herding sheep or you'll never make it.
Oh, for God's sake.
So we of course offer to lighten the load. Rounding up the sheep begins strong, with the not-so-speedy boots coming in handy for the most part, apart from leading to the odd slam dunk. Lance unfortunately fails an attempt after falling asleep due to, well, counting sheep. And finally we round up all the sheep only to find out that one of them is a sheep Jesus, and is too busy levitating into the heavens to participate. Nevertheless, the job is done, netting us another spleen and the first of the 2 subplot keys. Whizzing around some more, we come across Lady Sammeltish, a woman who lives out in the sticks to get away from it all, tending her invisible garden.
Have you brought me a fairy? How sweet. My garden is so beautiful and colorful, but I've never had a garden fairy.
I'm sorry, ma'am. I'm not a garden fairy. I'm a sidekick fairy. Also, garden fairies aren't actually fairies. They're just insects called fireflies.
Oh, that's too bad.
This on-brand bonkers woman informs us that her subplot key is unfortunately in the possession of the Rons, who also inhabit her home. And if we are going to get this for ourselves, we will have to find a way to pry it from them.
We need somebody really small to be able to infiltrate the lair. Wait, I've got it! Tabitha, you can go into the lair and get it! Tabitha? Where'd you go?
Infiltrating the lair of the Rons, Tabitha slinks through unnoticed, all the way up to the subplot key.
Huh? If I take the subplot key, I'll have to leave the item I'm carrying behind, since I can only carry one item at a time. Oh god, I forgot I gave her something. What is it? Oh, I think I can part with that without too many tears of joy.
With the two subplot keys in hand, we return to Amir, with a face like he's just gotten away with being in sync, who makes us the medallion we need using his Acme badge forger. And we head into the catacombs to track down this British agent, and grab ourselves the second actual plot key. Upon arriving, Lance notices a bloke standing next to a massive boulder blocking the way. With us luckily having picked up the gauntlets of power earlier, we make short work of the huge rock, tossing it across the land, making me wonder where exactly it will land. Now in the catacombs, we handle the world's crappiest dungeon boss in the form of the Great White Eel. Delving deeper, we come across this British agent. Pulling her out of the hole, we get acquainted.
Tab, am I the only one here who thinks the game designers might be hitting on the gratuitous hot woman parody a little too hard?
Just do the scene, Lance.
And discuss the tracking down of the key.
So, are you okay?
Yes, I'm quite fine, thank you. My name is Korloft.
I thought it might be you. The Emir of Naroka told us that he sent you here to retrieve the plot key.
Yes, we are standing just outside entrance to the no longer sacred temple. I tried to squeeze into the temple through the opening in that doorway behind you. I thought I could make it, but for some reason I got stuck.
With Lance getting a bit distracted.
Huh.
I remained stuck there for almost 2 days until you came and freed me. You are the chosen one, I presume?
Yes. Yes, I am the chosen one. Destiny's Ward, the glorious hero, etc.
I guessed as much. It is just as well. We can now operate the mechanism to open the door, which requires 2 people. I'll go operate that switch over there. You go operate that switch on the opposite side of the room. We have to pull the switches at the same time in order to open the door. Sound like a plan?
Yep.
Lance, what are you doing? Don't you know it's rude to stare at a woman's chest like that?
Yes, but I just can't look away. I mean, how is her chest even physically possible?
Well, do your best, Lance. You have to be a hero.
I don't think I can.
I feel that due to his pointy heritage, this chap would probably be more accustomed to something like the classic Lara Croft, with boobs less like boobs, and more like on-ramps for her mouth. With a bit of teamwork, the two progress further into the catacombs.
This is the no longer sacred temple of Rico. It was once the most holy site for the Ricanists, until they abandoned it and built a new temple in Melajusa.
Is it me, or does Cora here sound a little bit shit-faced for such a dangerous adventure? A little bit too much sherry before the mission, I suspect.
He likes a burger. He's a burger man.
Plastered or not, we break through into the inner sanctum using the air hockey-themed mechanism, to the resting place of the last plot key, an item that unfortunately for us is also guarded.
That's Gozamata.
You mean the ancient dragon Gozamata?
Yes, and while also formerly being Nana's toilet chain. The, dragon, Gozamata, is quite a fight indeed. Many deaths were suffered at the hand of the Elder Dragon of Jank, until ironically enough the speedy boots actually leading to a breakthrough, allowing us to finally put a stop to the would-be dragon.
If I'd have known you'd play so rough, I wouldn't have bothered.
Bothered to do what?
Defend my horde. I mean, I know I'm a dragon and I'm supposed to attack anyone who threatens my horde, but come on. It's just material things. Not worth getting my ass kicked over. I was just doing it for old time's sake. Oh well, it's been fun, but I don't want to miss Oprah. Later, humans.
With the final plot key in hand, we are stopped by some scouts sent by Amir. Scouts that need to move a little bit closer to the microphone, it turns out.
Scouts in the service of the Emir. He asked us to try to find you.
concerned you might not have enough water to get back.
Reporting in with Amir, he surprisingly is no longer disturbingly happy, but seems to have put on some form of headpiece to stop him from looking at Cora's boobs. Amir congratulates us as we close in on our final task, taking on none other than Friede Herde himself, making our way to his lair for the final battle. With only one last door standing in the way of victory, the pair can't shake the feeling that something is off. A feeling that with this game is right on the razor-sharp nose. Yes, the game's mobs are all on strike. The supermodel zombies marching with signs, and even our arch-nemesis Friede Herde refusing to close out the game until the enemy NPC's demands are met by the game's developer, with nothing left but to leave for yet another surprise.
Oh my god, I think the game designers must have hired stormtroopers as strikebreakers.
Stormtroopers? Ah, well that sucks.
Are we gonna have to spend the rest of the game with these annoying laser blasts flying past us?
I don't know.
Oh, let me guess. This isn't something you learned in sidekick school.
Well, we sorta did, but it wasn't exactly in this context.
Well, did you learn anything about how to make them stop?
No! Well, it's generally not regarded as necessary, nor desirable, really. But the only thing that really applies is if you're trying to escape, or like something like that.
Makes sense. You don't want to waste time and effort on stormtroopers when you have important things to worry about.
Exactly. Well, we don't have more important things to worry about, so I don't know what to do.
Okay, look. Maybe the game designers just want us to do something before they call them off.
That's good thinking. Maybe something like viewing the long credit.
Why do you think that?
Well, I'm pretty sure the credit roll we just saw, it was the short and sweet version. If you scroll to the bottom of the long credits in the credits app, they may go away.
Well, it's worth a try.
And so with that ends the charming and ridiculous The Ditty of Carmina, a game developed by a single Carl Banks, and by far the most far-out Zelda clone you are ever likely to encounter. Comedic jabs at the games industry, and pure silliness, with additions such as a shooting gallery minigame where you win by missing. The Ditty is sure both a blast from the past and one hell of a passion project. So cheers to you, Mr. Banks, for putting so much time and effort into this charming slice of insanity. But enough from me, what did you think? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, along with any suggestions for any other weird and wonderful titles you would like to see coming up on the channel. Please drop the video a like if you enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe for more, and if you're after another bonkers adventure, don't forget to check out the whole playlist of them coming up now. Massive thank you to my patrons as always, and I'll see you guys in the next one. But hold on, what happened to Gary?